We had a slight technical issue there for a second, but we're going to return back to the conversation where we left off. And the question was, what makes a teacher at Edopia different from a teacher from a traditional schooling environment?
The teacher at Edopia is expected to take ownership for what she's doing in the classroom, right? So there are two aspects to this. One is that the head of the school, Algeria, would give teachers, what can I say? She trusts their board to make the right decisions and to plan out their lessons and plan out the course packs that we use for the whole year. And the second thing that comes out from this is that once the teacher knows that she's being trusted to do something, then he or she is going to take ownership for that. So both these things work hand in hand, and I think that that is how we're different. That we don't hand over lesson plans which are made before, and we don't hand them over to teacher that this is what you're expected to teach. We let the teacher decide how she wants to go about teaching.
And we do have frameworks in place. Yeah. So, for example, if we talk about how early childhood literacy is taught, so we follow a rigorous and systematic synthetic phonics program. So even with teachers, there are non-negotiables. So you cannot say, no, I wish to use the multi-cue approach, and I do not wish to teach with synthetic phonics. By virtue of joining us, you are saying, yes, I will teach synthetic phonics, but within those parameters, within the principles of synthetic phonics, you have lots of freedom of how you go about teaching those things. So we do have frameworks, but then there is a lot of freedom within those frameworks. I think one of the key things we look for when a teacher comes in for an interview, one of the first questions is this something that you're looking at as a long-term career, or is it just something that you're doing between jobs or because you're bored? So we don't really want people who are doing this because they're bored. We'd rather that they go do something else instead of teach, because it really is full-time commitment. I dream about my children and my, at my age. There's really no escape from the teaching. There's really no escape from it. So you really have to have that passion. So we are looking for people who are passionate, and then we're looking for people who are flexible, and we're looking for people who are open to new ideas. So those kinds of things, we try to pick those people out in interviews, but over time, usually when people join us, it takes maybe one semester and you start seeing them adopt the culture and become a part of it. So they bring a little bit of themselves to the culture and they take a little bit from the culture into them. So in that way, I think we become a very cohesive family, the entire staff. And we've had quite a few people come in who came in kind of saying, maybe for a year, and then at the end of the year, they were like, we want to do this for the rest of our lives. So yeah, we've had, I think the passion is kind of contagious also.
I think it's also that sometimes people who do want to change, they come here and maybe I don't know what they would be expecting when they come here. It's different when you want to do something and you come with expectations, but when you actually see that happening, when you see yourself being part of the system that is trying to change things, so I think that itself is a good motivation for a lot of people. It makes them stay.
Another key thing, something that always comes up in feedback sessions that we have, and the reason why I've stuck around, is that each and every one of us feels like we're contributing to this system. So no one ever tries to tell me who I should be. They allow me to be who I am. So I develop a strong identity of my own within the system. We don't always agree over things, but each and every one of us does feel that, okay, so we are valuable to the system, and we're part of the team. We're a team that creates this thing, so it doesn't belong to one person. It doesn't belong to even just the administration. So I think that's a really valuable feeling at Edopia.
And do you see having that much input and say is when it comes to the academics and managing that aspect of the school, do you feel that teachers having that much say and freedom to speak their mind helps create a good academic environment?
That's Definitely, we see so many interesting things happening that wouldn't happen if we just handed them a year-long planner in the beginning when they came in. Recently, we had our middle school English teacher do a Mind for the Blind class, and everyone came in and they were like, yes, sir, what do we have to do? And he had some music playing in the background, and he said, I have no instructions for you today. I'm just quiet. You can do whatever you want. And it was an experiment, but what we saw was we had one child, one of the students write a story. We had 3 of them sit down and have a very philosophical discussion. And so, yeah, again, within classrooms sometimes we've had very interesting things happen because we do not dictate what teachers do from one class to the other very rigidly.
And also, before we had this interview, in my research and speaking with Daria before, there was the talk of the Life Skills Engagement Week. Can you talk about that a bit and what goes into that process? Because from what I've gathered, there's not structured class during that week, but every student is going through pretty much a life skills training exercise for the entire week.
The idea behind the Life Skills Week, we call it LSCE Week, which is Life Skills and Community Engagement Week. The idea behind was that when we started Edopia, we wanted kids to not just study, right? We wanted them to have life skills. We wanted them to be to learn things that they will need when they grow up and they go out into the real world. And time and again, we used to try that we would, on some days we would not have a class, or sometimes we would skip half a day. They'll have half a day of academics, and for the rest of the day, we go in the kitchen and bake a cake sometimes, or sometimes we go out and garden. But as the school was started to grow and we had more kids, it was difficult to do that on a random basis. So then eventually we decided this year that we're going to collapse the timetable, the academic timetable, and we're going to have 1 week every month where all the kids and the students and the teachers, everybody is going to be dedicated to learning a life skill. So up till now we've had 4 LSA weeks. So in one of them we took the kids for an overnight trip, and the kids learned some survival techniques. And the second time we had the entrepreneurship week, where we made groups of kids from the elementary and the middle years together, and they came up with some brilliant ideas for business. And 2 of those ideas were the kids are actually still working on them, and we're hoping that they're going to start a new venture. So that thing continues, even though the idea is that even if the week is over, the learning is not over. So the kids get so inspired by doing something so different, and they feel that they really can make a difference, and they make these small clubs, that they can use the choice time to continue working on those ventures. And then the third week was the MUN, where the kids got together and they got a taste of what United Nations is like. So they learned to negotiate, and they learned to bring out their ideas and talk confidently in front of people. And the last one that we had just got finished last week. And
that was home economics.
Home economics.
So
kids were actually doing domestic chores. The younger ones were learning how to clean up and how to sew a button and how to clean
bed sheets, and they loved it. They cleaned the entire school. It smelled of soap, and it looked like bubbles all over. It was amazing. They put so much hard work into it, and they took them before and after pictures. Some of them made stop motion videos to document the process of how they transformed each of their classrooms. We have a room upstairs that the middle school children painted. They fixed things around the school, maybe a broken wheel here, or they put nails in the walls where they were needed. And teachers got some very useful spring cleaning also done. So it was win-win for everyone. The children loved it.
And they also learned knitting. Some of the kids chose to do knitting, so they were actually boys and girls sitting together, knitting for 2 hours. And some of them chose woodwork, so they tried to make a lamp out. But they had to chop their own wood, that they had to paint it and stain it. So it went pretty well. The kids were pretty excited about it. And again, the same thing that knitting and woodwork is something that they like so much that now they want to continue during their choice time.
This is what happens, kind of. You get so many surprises out of this, and also so many other valuable traits in children come out during these LSE weeks. For example, there's this one boy, I think he's in the 8th grade or 7th grade, and he he kept trying to knit something for 3 days. And after 3 days, Daniel in the 9th grade, after 3 days, he's like, I really can't. So we were so proud of him for persevering. So, you know, those kinds of things where it also gives you an opportunity to say he couldn't do it, but because he persevered, that in itself is something, and we acknowledge it. So, yeah, it just changes the way, it changes everything. It changes how you look at children yourselves. It changes the way children look at you. The teacher-student relationship, I think it kind of develops into something very interesting over the course of these.
It goes beyond the classroom, you know, so you're no longer just a teacher and a student studying, you're just learning together. And I think that's an important part. If you know what you said earlier, then what keeps the teacher motivated? I think that the bit about where they're also learning with the students, that keeps us motivated.
It's also a very humbling experience because some of the kids can knit better than I can. Some of the kids can cook better than I can. So, you know, it's really humbling.
My kids were cooking over the weekend, you know, because they were part of the LSE and now they're cooking over the weekend. So they're like, we actually can do this, and they made breakfast for me.
Yeah, my son's been helping me out in the kitchen too. I mean, he takes me to the kitchen now and says, let's make pizza. So he's not really helping me out, he's forcing me into the kitchen now. I'm not sure about this.
And that brings up a really interesting aspect, like for the changes you see in students in this environment seems to be more, just from my perspective, it seems more, this is more of a community than just a strictly, you're here to take a standardized test and that's it. And so you must, as teachers, see a lot of changes within students just throughout the course of the year or even a month-to-month basis with so many different things, because it's not a structured setting every day. So there's change in the schooling day. It seems like it can be from week to week. So do you see a lot of changes in your students and maturity levels raising throughout the year?
I don't think, you're breaking up a lot, so I'm not sure I understood that question.
I think you're talking about changes that we notice or observe in the kids over a period of time.
Oh yes, let me repeat that for you really quick. What I was basically asking was, for when your students are in this environment, it seems like they're going through and living in more of a community setting rather than just a strict traditional school setting where they're just expected to study for a standardized test to pass the test and whatnot. Do you see lots of changes in your students because of the changing environment and it being more of a community setting from a sometimes week-to-week basis? Or how do you feel like your students mature throughout the school year?
I think for many years, at least I can say that I've seen the kids open up more, because usually at this age, they do not understand authority, right? And they don't like it. But when they see that the teachers are opening up to them, because when we have free time, we sit with them and we talk about our lives as well, and we talk about our experiences. Then I think they start trusting you and they start opening up, and then they become more confident. So yeah, I think over a semester or maybe over a year, I've seen kids change a lot. They open up and they can talk to you about a lot of things that they would never dream of talking to you about. So that's for me. That's what I've noticed.
I've also noticed that children become more responsible because you are trusting them in that responsibility. So I have actually seen that happen. And one of the things, even within because the way we do academics is also different from how a lot of mainstream schools might be doing academics. And so we have every 2 weeks, the third week, we have a creative writing workshop. And the purpose of the creative writing workshop was to basically immerse yourself in a style of writing for a week. And they do one draft, and they do another draft, and this third draft. Between drafts, we sit together and we workshop their pieces. Children critique each other's work, and then they take the peer critique and incorporate it into subsequent drafts. And one of the things I saw come out from that was definitely there was a shift from a fixed mindset where I'm either good at it or I'm not good at it to I can be good at it if I keep trying. And so something that we promote in the school is a feeling of there's no such thing as competing with other people. The only competition you're in is with yourself. And so sometimes when I bring the drafts back and I check them, the students will say, which one's the best draft? And I'm like, I don't really care. I'm not really checking from that point of view. All I want to see is how much better is your second draft than your first one? So what improvement have you made between the first draft and the second draft? And that's what's really important. And that's what we celebrate. So that does create a shift in the entire culture where you're no longer competing with her. And so you can help each other get there together instead of constantly peeking over and seeing what's she writing. Maybe she's, yeah, so it completely changes the way, changes classroom dynamics, it changes everything.
And I think even in grade 6, we tried the same thing, that the kids are writing drafts and they're giving feedback to each other, and we got really good response. The kids are actually, happy for each other, and they for their good. And they even try to write poetry together. That came out pretty well. Yeah.
And I think that's because that's basically, that's been an ongoing debate in the United States itself with the difference between growth and proficiency and which one should be preferred in the school setting. And I think that's something that's extremely valuable to hear about, like students, when you actually have, when you prefer to move in a growth up position, that encourages students to be helpful to each other and wanting to help each other and push for their success rather than worrying about if they do better than I do, then I look bad. And is that something, as you just mentioned, is that something you see a lot at Edopia? Like students are trying to help each other rather than worrying about competing with their fellow students?
It changed, see, because it's something that doesn't happen overnight, and we have different new students coming in every year. And I have noticed that when they come in, they are competing. But over time, they learn that's not a standard here. No one cares if I do better than XYZ. I just have to do better than what I did yesterday. And over time, you definitely see those children relax and stop competing with each other all the time. What's more important is that the parents eventually stop asking who's getting the highest marks in class. Because since we work as a community, we do talk to the parents about it, and we say, we don't want you telling the children who did better than whom. And we don't announce grades in that sense. We give a lot of feedback, but we don't have a report card that says this child stood first, this child second. And we don't really do grades where you assign a number or a letter to a child. We have other ways of letting them see where they stand.
Is that something that it takes parents a while to get used to once their children are now going to Edopia? Or do you find that they, after you're open with them, explain to them the process and why you feel it is a better way of going about their education, do they quickly turn around and see, okay, this is actually working, maybe this is a lot better than what I'm used to?
I think I've seen both kinds of parents. Some of them who, they're parents who come here just because it's a different system, and because they want the kids to have a more well-rounded personality rather than just some grades on a report card. And then you do have some who would not have expected this, and they do resist it sometimes. It happens. Some of them do adapt, some do resist. But I think up till now,
over time, everyone's gotten on board.
Because I think, Walter, it's important to also see that when they see a positive change in their child's personality, you can't deny that. There's no denying if there's a change in the personality of the child, if he's happy to come to school and learn, or if he comes home excited telling you that, today we did not study, but, we observed, I don't know, maybe some birds, feeding their little ones or something like that, that you would not normally hear your child talk about. Then I think that's a good thing. There's no denying that.
And that to me is probably the most fascinating aspect, because if the parents themselves are seeing that big of a change in the students at home, that definitely means that something is going extremely well while they're at school. And I think that's a testament to what this style of education can actually do and how it can enhance critical thinking. Because just looking over everything and hearing both of you speak about it, it seems like you're teaching students not just to be good at a test taker, but you're actually teaching them how to think and how to be an effective part of a community setting rather than just internalize everything and think about how it affects them personally. And I think that's an amazing approach that Edopia is taking.
So we consciously integrate the 21st century skills of critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. Our students know that when we assess, we are also, in group work, we're also assessing how they collaborate. So yeah, we consciously integrate the 4 C's in every single activity that we do.
And before we wrap up everything, is there anything else that you would like to say about Edopia for those who are listening and reading the attached article to this, about just your experience at Edopia, why you think this is a great way to move forward in education, and just anything that you would like to say?
Well, from my experience, Walter, when I came to Edopia, I wasn't working. I had taken a break because of my kids. And when they joined the school in my metro area, and I actually, that is when I decided that I would want to work here. And so when I started off, we were a really small school, and now we've gone to a bigger one. But the best thing that I like about this is that the ideology has not changed. So the school has not lost the meaning that, you know, when you have more kids, it does not become commercialized, or it has not lost what we started off on a certain, what can I say, certain mission, and that mission is still on. And I see every day teachers working hard towards that mission. So, you know, sometimes parents do come to me and they do ask me if I'm satisfied as a parent, or if I want to move my kids from here. The answer is a definite no. Because I don't see any reason why I should move. Because if I see a team of dedicated teachers who are spending every minute of their lives trying to make a change, then why would I want to leave that system? So
I kind of when I joined last academic year, before that I was working as a teacher trainer with the Oxford University Press, and my job was just to conduct several workshops all over the country. I've conducted over maybe 250, 300 workshops in different parts of the country, and I wanted a place where they would let me do what I wanted to do, and let me teach the way I wanted to teach, and then use that, kind of conduct action research and use that in my trainings. And this was really the only school where I came with this proposal, and I trusted that they would let me do it. So again, that part, I think what keeps everyone around is that trust, and that we're going to let you do what you want to do as long as it's within that framework, that huge framework that we have. And so for me, this is like a huge educational laboratories, and it's one of the most exciting adventures I've been on. So yeah, that's kind of why I stuck around, and we learn something new every single day. It's a joy being around the kids. It's a joy being around each other. And yeah.
I think when your personal goals are aligned with the goals of the school, that works pretty well for everyone.
I think that awareness, when the way we function is we know what makes each person tick, and then we try to give them space enough to get that from the system. So yeah, we have very symbiotic relationships with each other and the school itself.
Yeah, it's been great speaking to both of you, and again, as a Khan and Samreen Kazmi, and I definitely hope we speak again in the future, because I definitely want to keep focusing on Edopia and its really unique approach to education. That just looking again at my own education growing up, and imagining growing up in an environment like this, it would have been better for me, and I think it would honestly be better for millions and upon millions of students around the world, especially at a young age.
Yeah.
And and again, it was great speaking to you, and I hope to speak to you again really soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.